empowered. And I will tell you, even if you're alone, because I'm kind of a person who likes taking my space, I'll do 8 hours, meditation, and I'll go into these meditative states. And even though I'm alone, there's all these beings around me, so I'm never truly alone. Go ahead.
Ah, she's never... Whoa, okay, this woman obviously needs no introduction. We have been waiting for her for lifetimes to bring this information in. So good morning, everyone. How's everyone today? Woo! And you already feel the energy, right? So guys, this is the 21st year of Conscious Life Expo. We've been doing these conscious events for 21 years. That's a long time. How many of you have been here before? All right, well, how many of you are here for the first time? Whoa, okay, so I don't know. What do you think? Let's give you all a hand. You're like... You're what makes this expo exciting, and yes. This is the largest consciousness expo of its kind in the country. You're a part of it, and we just want you to know how much we love you. We have 3 floors. Go down into what we call the rabbit hole for an adventure. There's 2 rooms in there and very exquisite. Go into the lobby downstairs. We have great vendors, and up here in the mezzanine, and spread your love all over them. All right, did I introduce myself? I'm Joan of the Angels. I just spread love and light for everyone to help you remember why you're here, and you're here now to remember who you are, and that's why we have our beautiful Sarah Adams. You will be able to pick up, I guess, tapes later on today available if you want a copy of all these presentations. And I want to tell you, we have on Monday, we have post-conference workshops, which are deep dives with some wonderful people as well. All right, now getting to Sarah Adams. She's already introduced herself, but I will say this. She's an alchemist, a spiritual alchemist, an extraterrestrial being. She does intuitive healing with homeopathy, herb supplements, superfoods, detoxifying, energy work, visualization, all to heighten frequency. And if you want to connect to your guides, to the ETs, and to all the beings she just mentioned, that's what we need to do, raise our frequency. So with that in mind, let's all give her a big welcome. This is her first time speaking here. I'm so honored. Thank you. There's no room for me on the stage.
Having a problem with this microphone here, huh? I am very humbled and grateful to be here. Thank you. Thank you so much for this. So, I want to say that we all are equal. Just some of us we have awakened to our divine power, and others haven't. And it's for us who have awakened to pass that light to others, and not to try to force them by speaking to them, just to embrace the energy so that it's transmuted to them. And we can do that for everyone in the world. In fact, this is what the ETs told me. They showed me cities, and they showed me New York, and they said to me, look at the people here. And I could see them, and their auras were gray and black and red. And these colors are associated with being angry, frustrated, sad, depressed, and caught in the system. And of course, all the buildings are gray. There's no color, It's very interesting in cities how all the buildings are gray, and you go into nature, and nature's just so colorful. So they were showing me this, and they said, a lot of people that are awakened probably think that, you can't help out New York. They live all around the world. But then they said, you know what? We can channel rainbow light into those people. We don't even have to speak to them or know them. We have this divine power. So we need to focus on cities around the world and start just sitting there and channeling light into them. We need to start channeling light into ourselves and to everyone around us. And so I go into these spaces of 8-hour meditations where I will connect to the earth, and I will visualize the earth engulfed in rainbow light. And I've noticed since I've done this for years, more and more people are awakening. And I'm sure there's others who have achieved this level out there and who are doing it. And now it's time, as the ETs have told me, for me to teach this knowledge to everyone so that everyone can do it. Because right now, the planet needs it. The planet is polluted. It's struggling energetically. She's alive. And she told me, she's like, the oceans are polluted. She told me, she said, you know, the air's polluted. Everything is polluted on this planet. But she told me, she's like, humanity has this divine power within them. They have control over the 4 elements via the 5 element, which is love. And we can only achieve a state of love once we have faced all of the fear and all of the trauma and all the unhealed parts within ourselves. I call it the dark night of the soul. And, you know, like I said, I do symbolism, so I consider that there's a lot of symbolism in religion. And in the Bible, it talks about the Israelites going through the desert before they get to the land of milk and honey. That's actually symbolic. It means going through all the unhealed parts of yourself, feeling them, healing them, filling them with the light. And once you get through all parts of yourself, you get to a state of bliss and happiness, and you become as a happy, blissful child that isn't judgmental, that loves everybody and everything, and will give a hug to everybody and everyone. So that's the state that we need to reach. And we need to take more self-responsibility for our beings. You know, I think we do a lot of projecting in the world, and that's the problem. Everybody's pointing, you know, their fingers. Oh, hates the government. Yeah, the government's not great, but guess what? They're just lost men, and they live every moment in pain and suffering, and that's why they're terrible to us. And we're not going to shift them by sending them more hatred and anger. We're only going to shift them once we look at them and say, there's a small child in there that's really hurt. It didn't get the love it needed. It didn't get the nurturing it needed. So now it thinks it needs to have fame, power, control, and whatever else to try to fill that deep, dark hole. And we need to have compassion for them. And we need to start channeling upon them love. And we need to channel the rainbow light to them. And as we do that, we'll shift them. That'll bring them back into a higher, that'll lift them in frequency, and that'll bring them back into a state of higher consciousness, and that will shift them. We have the power to shift our governments. We have the power to heal the pollution on the planet. We have the power to lift the frequency of the planet back into a state of where the planet is thriving, where there is no sickness, where there is no suffering. This is when you go back, there's myths of people living for hundreds of years, even thousands of years in good health. Is this because the frequency of the planet was so high, there was so much energy channeling through it? When you're full of energy, guess what happens? You're healthy, you're happy, and you're well. When you're lower energy, you get sick, depressed, sad, and, well, life sucks, basically. So this is the solution to everything that we are dealing with in life, is to lift our frequency field. So again, going back, that this body is divine technology. And as stated, I feel that a lot of records were purposely destroyed so that people don't know how this system works. So we have the cells, we have the organs, we have the aura, we have the chakra system. And I do these beautiful techniques of where I go in and I speak to my liver. I'm like, okay, and we're going to do this technique right now. I'm going to wait for everyone to get settled. And I'm going to show you guys one technique that you can use for every part of your system. And this technique I have used for my system, because in the past, I nearly died. I was on the brink of death, and I had 5 doctors say, you won't survive to me. They said, your organs are shutting down, and I knew it's because I lost energy. And so these doctors were like, oh, you need a kidney transplant, but we can't give you that because your heart's unwell, and your liver's not good. And I was spitting up blood because I had given a lot of my energy to somebody else who needed it. And but I needed this learning experience, the spiritual learning experience, so I could understand how my system works and how the systems of everyone works. It's like, okay, I'm dying. But you know what? I was like, it's because of energy. So when I checked the energy in my organs, they were depleted. I started channeling energy into my organs. I'm not kidding you. Within 5 months, I went back to one of the same doctors. I was completely healthy and happy. So we have the power to heal ourselves. But above that, we have the power to ascend ourselves into a state of multidimensionality. And that's true empowerment. You reach a state of God consciousness, you connect to everything, you start to care, you start to have empathy and compassion on everyone and everything, and you will start to act better. You'll be more kind, you'll be more caring, you'll put yourself in the shoes of another before you do something wrong to them and say, I'm not going to do that because guess what? I don't want that done to myself, because that's a terrible thing. So we're going to use this one technique, and I used this technique in my healing when I was healing my organs, and I also use it with people that, I'm working with to heal. And I will say this, I don't heal anyone. We don't heal anyone. We just allow them to access the divine energy that's already in them, and that heals them. So you all heal yourselves. This is the thing. Okay, so I want everyone to close their eyes and just relax. And what I'm doing is I'm setting this space. We're going to do a clearing here. I'm setting this space so that we can go ahead and bring in the ETs and have ET contact. Okay, so what I want everyone to do now is I want everyone to visualize rainbow light pouring into their cells, their organs, an entire being, and then the whole room and everyone around them. Yushkune wakashkile shkine more kashkine unona hala koshkila wada ishkine lero shkine la ishkine le wada karashkile lem ishkine hele mona haleum ikona hale wala hauri lowroga ishkine helero the koshkine helawam. So we're going to continue now. We're going to go ahead and we're going to ask our higher selves to connect with our physical bodies and become one with it. Now I'm going to bring you into this technique that I use with myself and others. I want you to go ahead and I want you to focus on your liver. And you're going to ask a question. Does it need to be cleared? And then you clear your mind and you wait for the answer. Now you're going to ask your liver, what color light does it need? Clear your mind and wait for the answer. And then you're going to channel that color light into your liver. For some of you, I'm getting yellow because you need happiness. For some of you, I'm getting blue because your liver's a bit inflamed. For others, I'm getting red because your liver needs more vitality. And you're going to do this for around 2 minutes until you feel tingles in your body and you feel your frequency ascending. There we go. I want everyone to come back when they're ready. Lift your hands if you felt that. So, with a lot of people too, you have to spend time with your system. It's important to spend a lot of time with your system, and this creates what I call soul embodiment. A lot of people, they're not spending time going into their system. So we did the liver today, and you need to do this to every part of your body, your cells, your bones, your organs. You know how you reach a state of higher consciousness and enlightenment and multidimensionality, where you can speak to beings? Is by doing this. Because our cells, our organs, they all hold emotional energy. They hold trauma from the past. They hold ancestral karma. They hold our past life karma. They hold imprints from others we have connected to. So we need to clear all that, because guess what? All of that is blocking us from going up in frequency and from connecting to the light beings. And when I was young, as a little kid, and I was near Sedona, Arizona, before we went back to France, because I'm half French, and Archangel Michael appeared to me. And he appeared to me for 2 hours. And he said, later in life, you're going to be doing this work. And he told me, he said, your mom's going to wake up. And when she wakes up, I'm going to allow her to see me for a couple of seconds only. And it happened. But he said, you know what you're going to tell your mom? He said, you're going to tell her this. You're going to tell her that adults, they have this dense aura because they're not taking care of their energy field. And that dense aura is creating a blockage to us angels and light beings. And I've never forgotten Archangel Michael telling me this. It's always stuck with me, because I see little kids and they can see beings. You know what they call their imaginary friends? They're actually seeing beings. Even animals see beings all the time, but they have a state of innocence about them. And when we lose our innocence as we grow up in society and that's stripped from us, we get this heavy, dense aura that weighs us down. So the light beings are up here and we're down here, so how do we expect to connect? It's not going to really happen. They try to step in and give us messages in our dreams, visions, or sometimes appear to us to try to give us instructions on how to elevate ourselves, and we really need to listen to that. But we won't actually be able to completely communicate with them all the time unless we take self-responsibility. I call it soul energy responsibility. We need to start taking responsibility of our vibrational energy. So, you can use this technique that I've taught you guys today. And you know what? I always say this, when you go to the gym and you want abs, you have to spend time. The same with this sort of work. You can't do it instantaneously. You have to put in the effort and the work. And you use this technique. I like starting with the bottom of my toes. I've done this because things get stuck in every part of us, things that we're not aware of. But when we ask our system, like we just did, we can say, scan our body, where is there stuck energy? Bring that up. And then we can say, is it here because of past life karma? Is it here because of trauma? Delete. What color light do I need to bring in? Bring in that color light. So what you're doing is you're transmuting all the parts of yourself that are dense, and you're bringing in the light until you become enlightened within the light. And this is how we ascend our frequency. So, I think a lot of people out there, they're like, okay, hey, I want to speak to ETs and light beings, but hey, you're not set. You have to really get your system in a state of where you can do that. And this is the beginning of doing so. I've worked with a lot of people where I didn't even teach them how to speak to ETs and aliens. We just worked on their energy field, and then they came back to me and they said, oh my goodness, I saw an ET the other day. It appeared in my room and I spoke to it. This is what happened. The thing is we don't know, we're not aware that what we eat, what we drink, the energies around us, it's all affecting us and it's keeping us down here. But I know a lot of people have jobs and we're living in modern day society. We always need to take that 10 minutes or an hour, whatever you can devote every day. And I do this grocery shopping. I'm out grocery shopping or at the farmer's market, and I'm visualizing gold light coming into me, filling my whole body. And then I'm like, okay, throwing it to everyone around me. And I'm like, here's gold light, light up. You know, you're loved, wake up. This is what I'm doing. Imagine if all of us light workers in the world started doing that to the planet. And instead of projecting our stuff, we're like, oh, that's coming up because there's a part of us that's unhealed. This is the message from the ETs. They're like, we're here. We've always been here. We're just waiting for them to light up their divine technology. And if we save the world for them, well, they're not going to find their divinity. We're here as aides and helpers. But in the end, it's you guys, all of you, that are going to save yourselves and the planet. And the ETs want you to know this, and all the hosts of the realms want you to know this. And I almost cry when I say that, because it's so, the love, I'm crying because the love that they have, you know? It's so intense. They're like, humanity, we're kin. They were ETs in the past. They're light beings. We're just waiting for them to wake up to that and to get out of that hole they're living in. But if we come in and we pull them out, they're not going to learn. But we're here to help them as friends. And that's a beautiful message. They believe in you guys. They believe in your divine power. And you guys have a lot of power. Because again, back to symbolism in the Bible, it says that man has even greater power than the angels. But everybody's scared of themselves, and they're scared of others. They have so much fear. And you know what? Use that technique that I taught you today and ask where that fear is coming from. Ask where that pain's coming from. Ask where that lack of self-confidence is coming from, or the feeling that you don't deserve to be loved, or you're not loved. Ask where it's coming from, and then clear it and bring in the light. And keep doing that till one day, guess what? You're going to wake up happy, and you're going to wake up fully embodied and in your divine power. And it's a path, you know, it's not an easy path, but it's a path of true enlightenment. And this is God, the divine's plan for humanity and all its host of the heavens and all the ETs. This is what they want. This is what they have faith that humanity will ascend into. And when you guys ascend into your power, you're going to look at the ocean. You're going to say, oh, that pollution's dense energy. I transmuted that in myself. We got this. We're going to go transmute that in the oceans. And you're going to channel that light energy and clear the oceans, and the oceans will be healed. And I've had visions of people in the world. They were channeling light into the oceans, and the ocean's frequency was shifted, and it was completely healed. And I've had visions of people doing this to the polluted skies, and it was completely healed. That once we transmute within ourselves all that energy, we realize, oh, okay, we can do this to the planet. We can do this to our elite leaders. We can do this to everyone. We are the ones who have power. We are the ones who have the divine power. And a long time ago, that was given to us, and we forgot that. So because we forgot that, we're like lost children in this dark forest of fear and suffering. But we don't have to be that lost child in a forest of fear and suffering any longer, because now we know that we all have this divine power. And this is really, really important for each one of you to understand today. So, you know, I'm not sure with time, because I don't live in time, and it's quite awkward for my team because I'm constantly, you know, I've lived like 5 days the same Thursday or Monday. So I actually have, when you get to this state, it's really interesting because you go in other dimensions. And even though I'm 37 years old, I lived 20 years once in another dimension and came back here. So I know this sounds insane, but I have lived hundreds of years even though I'm this age, because when you go in another place, it happens like that. So I have all these different experiences because with time we think in the back, but it's actually right here. It's not in the past. Does that make sense? So, and this is what I wanted to say, is that many of you, you know, sometimes there's this thing where people are posting, and I noticed this because I'm an observer There's this thing where people are posting, oh, I saw another version of myself that looks exactly like me. Well, you know, there's many versions of yourselves on different planets in different dimensions, right? You don't have one body. Or when your being is infinite. And you're having all these experiences at the same time. And once you step into your higher consciousness and ascend, what happens? You start to get what I had. I was like, oh, I have a body in Victorian times. I'm living a life right now in Victorian times. Body in Egypt, I'm in Egypt. Body on Mars, I'm on Mars. And they were simultaneously. This is my experience. So you guys will understand that you're not just this physical body. You are divine, powerful beings that will never die and have never died. And everything that's been taught to you, it's coming from fear and it's not the truth. And anything that comes from fear comes from disempowerment and it's not true. It's just an illusion. And pain, I was like saying that the word pain, you take out the I and you have the god Pan in there, which is the trickster god, you know? Pain tricks you into thinking that you are disempowered. So as you ascend into this higher consciousness, what's going to happen is you will start to have other experiences too. Like I can literally project out of myself and feel the entire world. And then once that happens, guess what? You can't sit there and you can't just sit there and live your life. You decide that you are going to go ahead because you're God and God cares and cares for and loves everyone. You decide you're going to take this divine action. So you're going to channel light into people across the world that you're going to see in dreams and visions and feel, and you don't even know them. And you're going to have empathy and love for them. And then you're going to truly connect to others and love them. Because you found that love within yourself. We can only find love within ourselves, true, unconditional, divine love within ourselves once we go through fear, because you cannot have fear in love. If you have fear, you have the illusion of love, and you're often connecting to another's masks that are similar to yours, and another's pain and suffering that are similar to yours. You're not connecting from your hearts. And so we can truly love, and we truly love everything once we have got through all of our suffering, fear, pain, and trauma, which is all dense energy within us that we need to transmute, and we have the divine power to do so. So I'm not sure how much time again that I have left, but I want to go ahead and bring you guys into this ET experience. Now, I want to also express this, that with ETs, it's very important that we do what I call karma cleansing before we do this. Whenever you encounter any light being, right, you have to, and this is why the light beings only come to certain people briefly, because their light brings up all your unhealed stuff. The light shines into your darkness, all your unhealed stuff. So if they stay for longer, when you haven't shifted that, it's going to bring up all your karma at one time. And that's not going to be good for you, because I've seen it happen to people. And you've got to process things slowly. So bringing so much light to you can bring up all your dark, unhealed stuff. So it's important to clear so you don't have those issues. And that's why I like clearing karma before I do this with anyone. We go through this karmic cleanse and ancestral karma and our personal karma, because that has a lot of imprints in our system, dense imprints in our system. So the more we become clear of these dense imprints, then we can withstand the light of the light beings. It won't bring up everything, because it actually hurts to get everything brought. This is why people die, get sick. They have all sorts of issues, bad luck, is because of this, is because their energy is so dense from all this stuff. And so that's what's weighing them down. And imagine a light shining at once on all of that, because light beings have so much light. It's going to bring it all up. That's why, there's a thing in the Bible where it said, don't look at the Ark of the Covenant. Does anybody know that story? It said, don't look at the Ark of the Covenant. Only the priests and priestesses could, because the priests and priestesses cultivated the light within themselves. And since they did, they could actually not have any issue. They weren't going to have any issues with the light of the Ark of the Covenant, which was just like a box of light, by the way. So in the story, people who looked at that fell dead. You know why they fell dead? Because it brought up all their karma at once. That's why only the priests and priestesses could go around that because the people in their society back in the day weren't doing their work to be cleansed and declared, but the priests and priestesses knew how to do that work and why they should do that work, so they were doing it. In fact, I remember being a priestess in Atlantis, and that's why I do a lot of physical purification. That's why I work so much on myself. But I guess the message for me now was like, okay, from the ETs and from the realms of the host of the realms was this, that now we need to go ahead and take these techniques and bring them into everyone's everyday lives. That means when you're at work, you can channel the golden light in, you can transmute everything. So we're going to go ahead and start with the karma cleansing, and then we're going to move on into ET contact. I'm going to wait for everyone to get situated. Just relax, everyone. Let's take some deep breaths here. 3 deep breaths. Now what we're going to do is we're going to visualize a bubble in front of us, floating in front of us. And you don't have to do this perfectly because I know this is your first time doing this. Then you're going to tell your system to put any negative energetic imprints, dense energetic imprints into that bubble. Now you're going to tell your system to put any and all negative attachments in your aura and body and system into that bubble. Now you're going to tell your system to put in any fear, doubt, pain, trauma into that bubble. Now you're going to tell your system to put any ancestral karma and personal karma into that bubble. Now you're going to put anything that you're suffering with right now or dealing with right now that's overwhelming you in your life in that bubble. Now you're going to visualize that bubble turning into golden light. Now you're going to visualize that bubble pouring back into your entire body of golden light. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to go into 22D. And I'll explain a little bit more about this dimension after you have accessed it. So you're going to visualize a golden light tunnel, and you're going to visualize flying up that golden light tunnel until your whole body tingles, or you feel your system shifting. Now I'm going to go ahead and work with the fairies, and they're going to go ahead and come and tune your auras. So I want you to keep a clear mind. Don't think. If you think, clear your mind again. Start mastering your system and step into your empowerment. And some of your auras have these holes in them. That's what the fairies are showing me. So they're going to work on that now. And every time you have been through something very stressful, that stresses the aura and creates a rip in the aura. And the fairies, they come in to fix these rips and heal them. Remember to keep your thoughts clear, your mind open, being open-minded. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to bring in the ETs. And I work with a lot of different ET beings. And so each one of you will have your own unique experience, since I'm going to open a portal with you guys. And this portal, these different ET groups will come through. And according to what each one of you needs, well, that ET will connect with you. Some of you need healings from the mantis beings, and these mantis beings come in and they'll restructure your energetic system so that it's flowing better and so that it's in a higher frequency. I'm going to teach you guys today how to open a Stargate portal that's interdimensional. And I'm excited for this because, as stated, this is the first time I do it openly like this. So we all have the ability to open dimensions. I want everyone to keep their eyes closed and stay open-minded. We all have the ability to open stargates. And so with this exercise, we're going to do that. I want everyone to relax. Preferably no movement in the room or noise. This is very important. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to visualize the entire room filled with golden light. And we're going to do this for around 3 minutes. And again, if your thoughts come up, clear them and focus on this exercise. It's very important. We're going to do this exercise for around 2.5 minutes, or when I feel the frequency of the room completely ascended where it needs to be. Focus on that golden light, channeling it into the entire room. Now we're going to visualize our hearts expanding. We're just going to feel bliss within them and happiness. And you can do this if you're not experiencing this right now in life. Think about the times where you've experienced it. Bring that up, and that's going to light this bliss and love and happiness up within your heart. Remind yourselves that you're beautiful and divine and eternal. You are powerful beings. You are the saviors and the Christ that you have been looking for all along. It was within you. You're the world changers and world savers. You're the ones that are going to heal yourselves, heal the planet, and you're going to send the planet into a state of higher consciousness. Let that energy flow through your body. Always know that you're God sitting here in this body, this instant. You're eternally God. And God isn't fearful of anything. And there's nothing that's more powerful than such. Remind yourselves always of that. Never forget it. Now we're going to step into opening this galactic interdimensional portal. I want everyone to visualize a portal in the center of the room. Visualize a large golden portal. And we're going to ask for this portal to connect to the different ET races and beings. Keep focused on visualizing this portal. Don't let any self-doubt fill your minds or other thoughts. Now I want each one of you to visualize what ET you want to connect with today. And ask them if they can connect to you. Then clear your mind and just feel and let them connect to you. And right now we have the mantoids coming through. And they're coming through firstly because they're telling me that some of you need healing. So they come in to do that. Remember to stay still, don't move, keep your mind cleared. Feel your senses. Some of you have the ability to actually see them in your mind's eye. Others of you feel them through your senses or through your emotions or through frequencies flowing through you or even through telepathy. So the mantoids are working on a few of you. I'm getting a couple of people here have back pains. That's where there's a blockage at. They're working on that right now to cleanse those blockages. There's a lot of restructuring of the golden light threads that we are composed of within us right now in this room. So the mantoids are instructing me that I should tell you how to speak with them. And you can do this by asking a question in your mind, clearing your mind, and waiting for the telepathic answer. And they said, we like to speak to you because you're our friends and our kin. There's some of you who want to remember your past lives right now. This is coming up. So we have the Oracle ETs, and these beings actually hold the records of all past lives and past experiences. They're coming in to connect with those of you who want to connect to your past lives right now. Again, use the technique to ask a question, clear your mind, and wait for the telepathic answer. Some of you want upgrades, DNA upgrades. We have the tall white beings. They created DNA, and so they know how DNA works. They're coming in right now to give you those DNA upgrades, and they're also going to restructure the DNA so that it's in its original divine light blueprint that it was originally. They're going to restore that right now. They're also telling me that some of you have emotions that need to be cleansed and cleared. You're dealing with heavy emotions. And for that, the 22D light beings that I work with from the Council of Light are coming in. They're going to restore the light blueprints within each one of you. I want everyone to stay still as these beings work on you. There's a pulsing of energy from these beings in this room right now. Just stay in that stillness and let your system shift energetically. There's somebody with a daughter out there who needs healing. That's what they're showing me right now. And they're saying that they will work on your daughter to help heal her. There's some of you that want your families healed too. They're showing this is deeply on your hearts. They're saying work on yourself and just bring in the light energies and let them help you. And then just channel that to your family after. First, work on healing yourself. They're telling me focus on that. That's what they're saying. They're saying you can't help another if your cup isn't full, and that you need to fill yourself with the divine light, then you can pass that to another. So focus right now on yourself. And then you'll be able in the future to focus on them and give them what they need, which is that light that you have found within yourself. They're showing me somebody else with knee pain in this room. They have knee pain. This is because this person, life was heavy for them. They got hurt. It hurt. So they're clearing that out right now. They're showing me too that some of you are just sad. You're just sad about things in life. So they're telling me they're going to go ahead and shift that for you. So you're going to feel much lighter after this. They're also telling me that some of you are lonely. So they're going to bring in the love energies so that you feel loved and know that you're not lonely. That they're saying tell them that we're always around and we will connect if you ask. Tell them that they're loved. So right now they have all decided to just work on the aura. They're saying that your auras all need upgrading, so they're showing me this. And many of you are probably feeling the tingling and just the sensation of lightness. That's because we're in a higher frequency right now. Remember, no thoughts. When you get them, clear them. Don't focus on anything else. Just be here, be present. Feel. That's how we connect, through feeling and open in our minds. They're telling me that some of you need to cry, and it's not a weakness, that when you cry, you're letting out emotions and you're helping to release your system. So they're saying that some of you need to cry. They're also showing me that some of you need to really start to calm your system down and do self-love via a diet, and a healthy, good diet and exercise. They're saying that's part of self-love. They're saying many people on this planet don't take care of their systems and bodies. So I'm just going to hold space while they continue working on your auras and upgrading them. I'm sure many of you are seeing colors even though your eyes are closed. This is the energy channeling through your aura. Now we're stepping into, for any of those of you who need healing, they told me that they're going to bring in the healing energy. So we're stepping into that phase now. Ile hoşkine le kaşkile, eşkine hile boşkare, ukurşkile hoşkile hoşkara. İhune le şkare, ile le holala la şille varkila. Hola he ukurşkile hera, eşkile markare le hevona. Just give up that pain. Give up what you're dealing with in life. Let these beautiful beings, divine beings, shift that for you. Remember, we have to give them that permission. We have to want it. And then we can receive this beautiful divine healing. Now I want you, each one of you, to ask them questions. So you're going to ask the question that you want to in your mind, just like you would another person, but silently clear your mind and wait for the telepathic answer. And remember, at first try, many don't get this. They don't get it. Do it for a couple of times, but eventually you'll get it. And if you don't get it today, go back home and do this exercise and you'll be able to connect. Many of you you're asking the question of why you're here. What's your divine soul path that's coming up? They're showing me this. And we're going to finish off this experience. They're going to go ahead and channel golden light directly into your entire system. So just sit there with an open mind and just, again, feel with your senses and let that golden light pour into your entire being. And I'm transmuting a lot of emotional blockages for many of you. I'm helping to do that right now. They're telling me that you all will feel lighter after this. And they're saying for those of you who could not connect today, keep using these exercises, and eventually your system will be less dense and they will be able to connect deeply with you. I just want everyone to go in their hearts and just thank these beings for coming here and doing this work with us today. We have so much gratitude for the divine within us and without us, for the host of the realms and the beings that come to our aid and bless us with their divine energy and gifts. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and hold space, keeping our minds clear, while these beings go back through this portal. Now we're going to visualize the portal closing. This is very important. And I want everyone to slowly open their eyes and come back when they can. So those of you who had an experience, can you raise your hands? Wow, that's amazing for this first try here. So, I'm not sure if I can do a question and where I give answers and speak to you about some of your experiences. Thank you. And again, I want to remind all of you that as we do this more and more, eventually you get to the point of what happens to me. I wake up in the morning or middle of the night and there's a being just like one of you right there in my room and I see them. That's what happens. Again, these abilities are like, these abilities are like when you go work out. They take some time to cultivate, but once you cultivate them, they completely light up and it shifts your entire being. You're like, wow, I was asleep before this. Now I'm awakened. And you realize like, whoa, that life I had before, that wasn't it. That was just like an illusion. And then you're powerful, and that is the main message I have today from the ETs and from the light beings, that you guys all have such divine power and it's time to step into that. So I will start to do classes. I'm trying to put a lot of this information out because I did one exercise today. There's a series of exercises I teach people how to astral project, go in the realms, travel to past lifetimes. We can even go to past lifetimes and download knowledge of things that we experience or abilities. Let's say we had abilities in Atlantis and we used our hands to heal. Well, we don't have that in this lifetime. We can download that into this lifetime. So we can download all these different pieces of ourselves and information from our past lifetimes and merge it into this lifetime. And a lot of people have actually lost a lot of soul energy in their past incarnations. And it's important for us to step into a state of wholeness. So what I like doing is I like focusing on past lifetimes, getting that soul energy back, retrieving it, and then we step into a state of wholeness. In fact, I was shown that the whole story of Osiris, where Osiris was cut in pieces, I was shown one day that that was all of humanity. They're in pieces. Remember, Osiris was a divine god who had this great power, but he became powerless because he was in pieces. It's because he lost so much soul energy, had soul energy in the underworld that needed to be retrieved. And in ancient times, the shamans that served you ayahuasca or sacred plant medicine, they just didn't sit there and observe you. They had been to the underworld themselves. They had these abilities, and they'd help guide you through it until you were back in a state of wholeness. And we don't have that happening anymore because people are afraid. Most people are afraid. So they're not traveling to the dark parts of themselves and filling that with light and healing those parts of themselves. They're scared of everything. Like I said, they're scared of entities. Sure, there's negative entities that exist, but we're God. We're powerful. So there's nothing more powerful than that. I have faced some very dark things. I have no fear of it. Because guess what? Nothing is more powerful than that divine power within me. And you know what? Coming from love, I've seen a lot of dark beings ascend. They came to me, and they were like, wow, we feel loved. And that love healed them, and they ascended. And that we need to all get to that point. Because that's a lot of work on me here, guys. I need some help. I've been doing this since a little kid. I've been doing this many lifetimes. And I was sent here to give you guys this message, not because I'm above you, but to remind you that you guys all have this divine power. We're all equal. It's time for everyone to step into it, and it's time for you guys to heal your planet, to heal yourselves, and you got this. All the beings of the realms, they're cheering you on all the time. Even when you're having a bad day and you don't even think about it, they're cheering you on. Just remember that. We're going to do questions and answers. Well, I want to talk about some of your experiences here. So whoever wants, here we go.
Thank you so much for doing this. I think you're amazing.
Thank you for being here.
I had an experience with more than one ET, and a tall white that I was working with, when you said close the portal, was leaving, and I said, please don't go. I want to continue doing the work. And am I confused? Because I feel like I saw what it was. It was a shadow of a white light, but
Sorry, I didn't hear the last question, love.
it seemed like the being left, but it still feels like it's here.
Okay, so that's because it actually shifted your energy system. Remember I said we're doing a shift of the energy system, so that's what you're feeling. It lit your system up. Yes. So what they do, these beings, they come and they will channel the light energies that they have mastered themselves into you. That's what you're feeling. So again, if you want to connect, what you do, and I want to teach all of you this here today, you have to give your body commands. And I always say that when there's an artist and he has the white canvas, that's what meditation is. This sort of work is the paint on the canvas that creates the picture. That's what I say. So what you will do to connect again, and you can do this when you're home, anywhere, you just visualize going up the golden light tunnel. When you do that and you tell your system to go into 22D, you're telling your system to elevate in frequency. So you're giving it a command. You have to give your system commands and it'll listen. And then you bring in the rainbow light, and you make sure to feel your entire body until you're tingling, and spend some time doing this. And because it's important, no instant gratification here, okay? Spend some time doing it. And then go ahead and visualize the portal opening, a golden portal, and ask for the ETs or the fairies or whatever you want to connect with to come through that portal. And then again, let them come through, and you ask a question, you clear your mind, and you wait for the telepathic answer. So you can do that now, from now on, to reconnect to that being when you want.
So much.
Thank you. Does anybody else have any experiences that they want to talk about? Over here. Oh, we'll get you next.
Thank you so much for your work first. Just wanted to, I guess I've been having experiences where when I'm meditating, and this happened just now as well, where I'll feel the shifts of energies coming in, and I don't know how to know who I'm working with. I was wondering if there was any tips or things that you can maybe share. I've done some work with the Stargate, and I'll feel the shifts, but I just don't know how to know who I'm connecting with, and I'll feel that state of bliss and just the pouring all in my cells where I feel just totally alive. But
Okay, so we originally, before there was the fall of man, you hear about how everyone had all these abilities. They walked and talked with God, the divine. You hear about all of this stuff. And the thing is that our senses were all lit up, but for thousands of years, our senses have shut down. But there's some of us that, our senses were either we're having visions or we're having like you have, where you feel. So it's about training your senses. So then what I like to do with people like you, that they actually feel it, you tell your system to change it to images or thoughts. And that helps shift it. So then you'll start to see the images. So then you'll start to see the being that you're connecting with. And also, if you sit in thoughts, you can ask the question, like I said, telepathically to the being. Just ask, what being is here? Clear your mind and wait for the answer to come through. So that'll help you with that.
thank you. And also, I guess with that, I do see some colors sometimes, and I'll get a brief glimpse of a face, but it's not long enough to hold.
So again, with that, you ask your system where the blockages are. So when you're, like I said, what blocks people from experiences is because there's some sort of blockage there in your system. So you tell your system, run a scan. Where's there a blockage? Clear your mind, wait for your system to pinpoint the blockage. And a lot of people have way more than one, I'll tell you that. In current society, there's a lot of blockages in people. You keep clearing that. And like I said, you'll get to a point once you clear those things that you'll get to the point of where I'm at, where I see people walking around that completely aren't, they're not human. They're literal ETs that took on the human form to help shift the planet. Or I'll wake up and there's an ET, standing at my bed. I see Archangel Michael all the time. He stands at my bed. He did a morning ago. I woke up and he knew I had to come do this conference. So he's like, I'm here. I'm channeling light into you. So I'm like, I had 3 hours of sleep, and I wake up and he's there channeling light into you. So they'll step in like that. So as we start to light up our senses more and work with them, then our senses completely turn on. And then you're going to see all sorts of things. But it's always important, too, to keep your frequency high, so you're always accessing the higher level of beings. Now, there's those like me where I go to the lower dimensions purposely. I can bring my energy up and down how I want, and I go to the lower dimensions of where there's lost souls, channel my light in to them, and bring them up. So then all of you have these abilities, and you'll grow with them as you go. Never be afraid of anything. In the back of fear, there is more empowerment. In fact, where there's fear in life, I've jumped and faced it and went right through it. And you become powerful because you're like, whoa, I got through that. I'm powerful because I got through that. So use your fears to empower yourself. Face them straight on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Sarah. Much gratitude for your work.
Thank you.
My question is, what was the light language that you spoke? And also, how do we go about raising, because we want to learn how to speak light language. I have a 4-year-old daughter that I have a recording of her light language for 30 seconds. If I have you listen to it, would you be able to identify where that came from?
So I will say this with light language. Each person has their unique light language. It's the language of your soul. So that's her unique light language. And I have my unique light language. And you guys can all try this at home. What you do is you just bring up your frequency and then you just let it pour out. And as it pours out, you'll start to feel your system vibrate. You'll start to feel the state of bliss. And the language is ascending your frequency. So I would say with her, that's her particular light language. I listen to a lot of people speak light language. It's their unique light language. I call it the soul blueprint, energetic blueprint is coming out. So when I speak light language, I also, I've used it to activate myself. So I was like, oh, I'm going to use it to activate the room. I don't really speak it publicly, but the ETs told me for once to do this publicly, so I decided to do it. But if I keep going on for 20, 30 minutes, like you can't see, I go to the state, I can't see the room. Like I can't see any of you because I just see frequency. So it's really good to use to activate your system. And you can do it alone and just sit there and let it pour out. So I would say, you can get my assistant, he's here, his email, and if you can email me the recording, I'll definitely listen to it.
Thank you.
Hi, thank you. You are such a treasure. I actually had dragons come in, and I'm not a dragon person. And I feel overwhelmed a lot and just too much input all the time. And so it was just like a rest opportunity for me. And they came in, and we were on a ship, and they just had me lay with them for a really long time. And they were licking me like little puppies or dogs. And then at the end, they were just standing next to me, just like, we're here protecting you. And yeah.
So there's dragon beings. This is great. There's a lot of dragon beings that I've worked with. And dragons, by the way, when I was a little girl, I literally saw this sphere, this purple sphere traveling across space and time with the dragons and the dragon beings in it. And they said, oh, we're on our way to help the humans out there on Earth. We're coming towards the planet. And I remember experiencing my first experience with this golden dragon in astral, fire would come out and he would transmute all the dense energies. So I would work with him. And yeah, the dragon beings really come in though for empowerment. If you feel disempowered, they will come in because they have that fierceness about them, so they bring that in. So I think that's what you experienced with that. If you get overwhelmed, and any of you, because I know a lot of you, you are sensitive to energies on some level or another, there's a great technique that you can do is the bubble exercise. You just put all in the bubble, transmute it into golden light, and bring that back in. And that really helps for those of you who are overwhelmed. Thank you for your question, love.
Why do you bring the gold back in?
So, okay, that's a good question, actually. So you want to transmute it. You're a powerful, divine creator being. Imagine you're pulling out all this dense energy and you're throwing it somewhere else in the universe. It's going to go to somebody else or somewhere else and create some problems. So what you want to do is you want to transmute it using your divine creator abilities into golden light and then pour that back into you. So you're taking out the denser charge and bringing in a higher frequency charge to your system. Because your system, where there was those dense energies caught, it will be depleted. So it'll need that charge after. Go ahead.
I got a question. When the beings came in here, I feel like I met long lost soul family, almost each one of them, and I'm happy. I love myself. I'm happy with my life on Earth. But when they start to leave, I almost want to go back with them. How do I? Yeah, how do I?
I think a lot of us share that here.
You have any word of advice for that?
Yeah. Okay. So it's a learning process. The thing is everyone wants to connect with their soul star family. This is it. And that's why I'm teaching this right now, because everybody wants to do that, because that's why we feel this hole in us until we do. I don't feel that hole anymore, but I notice a lot of people feel that hole within them. They're like, oh, there's these beings out there and we know there's something more, but they're not able to connect. And that's why I'm laying the groundwork of how to connect right now, so you can connect anywhere you are. Then, like I said, you get to my point. I'm driving, and there's a being, he appears in the car, and he's like, oh, I need to tell you this information. This is happening with the planet. He's like, we're all interconnected. So like I said, do that exercise, the going up the golden light tunnel, bringing in the rainbow light, and do the Stargate, and you'll be able to connect. I'm happy that you were able to have an experience. Thank you. Anybody else?
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Here's what I was experiencing when we went in through the exercise. First, it started a clicking sound in my right ear,
Yeah.
constant clicking. And I thought, what is this constant clicking? And then I saw a dark blue color that didn't last very long. Then it was constant purple. And then at the end, it was like dipped into a gold bath. This is my experience, I'm sure. I don't know what it all means.
So the clicking is how also specific ETs talk. The mantoids sometimes talk like that. It's kind of like that. It's a clicking. And when they're doing that, they're actually recoding your system energetically. That's what they were doing. So they were channeling information in and recoding your system. Also, the purple light is helping you to ascend into a higher state of consciousness. And the blue light is to calm your system down. So that's what you experience. And that was most likely also from the blue beings that came through. There's these blue beings that I work with. I don't necessarily like giving ETs names because we don't go by names. We go by filling each other's energy, frequency, vibrational blueprint. So it's really interesting even to be in this body and have this name. It's like all these years later, and it's really interesting. So I don't give them names. I know their frequency and they know mine, and that's how we interact. And it's really important to kind of let go of the names and labels of beings, because names and labels are earth. There's something from earth, and they actually hold a lot of karma to them, believe it or not, and a lot of dense energies. Even family names, your last name. It's important to do a cleansing and clearing on your last name, because imagine how many people before you had that last name with all that dense energy. So when I interact with them, and even when, myself, names are something that we don't even think about.
What was it about, like a golden bath or something, being dipped head to toe, like submerged?
Okay, so that's the golden light energy. And you know what? A fun little fact that was kind of forgotten in history. Our ancient temples, like in Egypt, when you would go to the inner temple, it would be full of the golden light that the priests and priestesses summoned in. And they'd bring people in there to heal and also to elevate their consciousness. And the golden light also lights up the golden heart. It lights up your heart chakra and your crown chakra and your entire being. And the golden light is basically kind of like pure sunlight. I liken it to that, and that's what the ancient Egyptians, remember? They lit up themselves via looking at the sun. That's also encoded for summoning in the golden light into yourself. You don't have to even go and sun gaze. You can just sit there and channel in the golden light. They'll do the same thing. It's encoded. Go ahead.
I did see a face briefly, but
what
it
sort of
wasn't
face?
clear.
It wasn't clear?
It wasn't so clear.
You know, once you keep doing these...
More outlines.
Oh, that's awesome, though. That's the beginning of having these experiences. So once you keep doing these exercises, you'll start to see more and more. Go ahead. I'll let you take care of it. How much time do I have left? 5 minutes? Okay. We're going to try to fit as many of you for questions in right now. I have 5 minutes left. Go ahead.
What is the 22nd dimension, or whatever dimension you brought us?
The 22nd dimension. Has anybody heard about the 22 DNA strands?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Guess what? That when you go to 22D, it lights up all your DNA strands. You're given a command to your system to light up those 22D light code DNA strands. That's what that is. And so you keep doing it, keeps lighting your system up. And I was shown this one day, so I kept doing it. And then one day I'm just like there, and suddenly like I saw my DNA strands. It was like all 22 are lit up. You're in a state of God consciousness. God consciousness. That's what it is. Okay, we're gonna fit. Go ahead.
Yeah. One night I was laying in bed and I started seeing orbs. And they were coming from an ET object I had in my room. And the colors were blue, red, and yellow. And then when I woke up, and it was just so relaxing. And when I woke up in the morning, they were the same, the colors of the orbs were the colors that the ET object that I had. So it was like orbs are shooting out in the color of the representation of the object that I had. What can you tell me about or tell us about orbs?
Oh, I love this subject actually. I create orbs, by the way. I create these orbs of light. I visualize light, spin it, and then I put it in my chakra system to keep myself in a higher frequency. So you can put it in your system. You can put them in your aura. You can create rainbow light orbs. I'll be teaching that in the future more. So it keeps your energy high. So there's those orbs. And then you also have orbs there's these small beings that travel through the orb, that travel in the orbs like their little ship, energetic ship. They're really small, like ET beings. I've experienced that. And then we also have orbs of light information, which is condensation of light that has information in it. So for me, what you experienced was in that object, there was this energetic information, and it was being transmuted to you. That's the orbs you experience. There are many different types of orbs, but that's the one. I can like name a dozen, but that's the one that comes up for you. So that object had information in it that was transmuting to you. Thank you.
Are there any strategies or concerns that you would suggest we address about darker energies or self-serving ones coming through these portals we open up?
No, because when you're in a higher state of consciousness, because you brought yourself up, you won't be open. That won't happen. You're not opening a portal to the lower realms. And again, there aren't any concerns when you're in God consciousness. And if there are concerns, that's something in yourself that you need to find out that where that fear or that concern is coming from. Because when you stepped into God consciousness, nothing makes you afraid. Like I said, I go to help lost souls out in the underworld. And it's a dark place, and it does exist because a lot have lost their light. But I'm not afraid of that. I'm not concerned with opening that portal and helping that soul out to ascend into the higher divine realms. And that's really important that we start to address our fear or our concerns. There's really no concern or fear for me in the end of anything, and there isn't for you once you step into God consciousness. Oh. 1 second. Go ahead.
Hi, Sarah. Thank you for your presence here. It's great to have you.
Thank you.
So I couldn't visualize anything, but I felt some white and gold light, and at some point it came in. I started to like move like that, and I couldn't stop it. I don't know what happened, and then it was not really a circle. It was more like left to right. And then I felt so good. It felt like very benevolent and a lot of love, and I couldn't stop. So that was my experience.
So and I've had this happen. I actually go into these states where my whole body shakes, and if you're around me, like I bring you into another dimension, basically. There's actually some of my friends here at this conference who have seen me shapeshift into different forms, because I said we have one or more than one being. So when that happens, and I've had it happen where I've like done that too in the past, that's actually your kundalini and your entire energy system is lighten up and elevating. That's what's happening right there. Yes. So you were having a pretty intense activation. Now, like I said, if you want, you can also ask questions. Like, you're asking me. Use the technique. Clear your mind. Ask, where did that come from? Clear your mind. Wait for the thought. Start talking to yourselves. If nobody's like talking to themselves, their systems. So all the systems of these people on this planet, they're breaking down and they're sad because guess what? We don't even have a relationship with our own system that's suffering. We're like beating it up on many different levels in life, and it's like, so start talking to your system and just asking. And as you do that, you'll find out you're going to create this beautiful sort of self-empowered, unconditional love within yourself. But that's the way to go with that. Just ask.
Thank you. And do you do that on Zoom? Those kind of activations too?
I do them on Zoom. I also work with people around the world because I can help somebody light up, across the world because energy's everywhere. Yes, I enjoy doing it.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. We have, can we get Amanda on the side right there?
Hi, Sarah.
Hi.
So I have a question I feel like would help the majority as well, to help raise your vibrations. Okay, so we know food is alive. We know everything that we put in our body, it's conscious. And would it help raise our vibrations by shining the gold light and white light, rainbow light into our food, into our water? Anything that we eat will help purify it and raise our consciousness as well.
Yes, that's true. So like I said about channeling the rainbow light and golden light into the ocean and yourselves, do it to your food. Of course, try to make healthy choices of food, which is always important. But it's better to channel golden light into a lovely fresh juice than a fast food hamburger. I will say that. But do that, and yeah, that will also shift you energetically. I like doing it to water that I drink, which is really important. And of course, Amanda already does this, and she's just wanting all you guys to know that this is a great technique. Thank you, my love. Okay, well, thanks everyone for joining me today. Thank you. And I want to wish all of you blessings and love, and above all, the empowerment of God within you, that you find that. I wish that upon all of you, that you find your divine power. I'm going to go ahead and head off, and you guys have a lovely, lovely day. Enjoy the Conscious Life Expo. Thank you.